Hello, today I'm going to talk to you about the Doppler effect. You should know that the Doppler effect is happening all the time in our everyday lives. Doppler effect includes waves, all types of waves, from sound waves to light waves. Just imagine a thing emitting waves all around it in a 3D dimension. It means it has a certain frequency and a certain wavelength. If you prefer, imagine, if you want, a car with its horn and the conductor is pressing the horn. In that case, it's emitting sound all around it in a 3D dimension at a certain frequency and a certain wavelength. Or not, if you prefer another image, you can think of one of a star in space. Now, imagine that star in space. It's emitting light all around it, so it's emitting a certain wave of light, a certain frequency, and a certain wavelength. Now, the Doppler effect allows us to see the change in frequency and wavelength of these waves. The Doppler effect is caused by the change in distance of the thing creating the wave and the thing perceiving it. The frequency increases because the distance is shorter. If the thing creating the wave is getting further away from the observer, then the frequency that the observer sees is lower. A good example of Doppler effect in our everyday lives is the sound of an ambulance approaching. When the ambulance siren is on, we hear the sound getting higher. That is because the distance between us and the ambulance is reducing. But once the ambulance passes in front of us and is getting further away, we, the observer, perceive the sound as being lower because the distance is increasing. That is the Doppler effect. We also notice that this is effect with stars. We observe that when the waves from a star being received on Earth are getting shorter than that expected for a specific wavelength pattern, then the frequency is higher. This shift to a higher frequency, which is the blue end in the visible spectrum, is called the blue shift. If in the inverse, the wave emitted by the star is getting longer, then the frequency is lower and the wavelength also. So the light being received on Earth tends to the red, which is also called red shift. The Doppler effect allows astrophysicists to prove that the universe is expanding due to the fact that stars are getting further and further away from Earth and confirms the theory of the Big Bang. Thank you for your time. Brought to you by S.FREARSON.